Scene script. Have you ever wondered why it's nearly impossible to escape North Korea? The answer lies in the establishment of one of the world's most heavily fortified borders. North Korea's border control is not a simple checkpoint system, but a complex and intricate network of defenses designed to keep people in, as much as it aims to keep others out. The North Korean government has gone to great lengths to ensure that its citizens stay within its borders. A significant part of this border control system is the infamous Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ. Created as a buffer zone between North and South Korea, the DMZ stretches approximately 150 miles in length and about 2.5 miles in width. It's a no man's land, a stark reminder of the Korean War and the ongoing tensions between the two nations. The Korean People's Army plays a crucial role in maintaining this border, with a force of over 1 million soldiers. They are stationed at various points along the DMZ and the rest of the border, ever vigilant and ready to prevent any attempted crossings. But the soldiers are not the only deterrent. The North Korean border is littered with physical barriers that would give even the most determined escapee pause. Electric fences, designed to deliver a lethal shock to anyone who touches them, snake their way along the border. Landmines, remnants of the Korean War, lie hidden beneath the surface, ready to explode at the slightest disturbance. Guard posts dot the landscape, where soldiers keep a watchful eye for any signs of movement. In addition to these, there are the natural barriers. The Yalu and Tumen rivers on the border with China, the rugged mountainous terrain, and the harsh North Korean winter. Each of these elements adds another layer of difficulty to the already arduous task of crossing the border. So the physical barriers make it almost impossible for anyone to escape. But is that the only obstacle? Imagine a world where your every move is watched. Welcome to North Korea. In this nation, surveillance is not an exception. It's the rule. An extensive network of state-controlled media, informants, and surveillance systems pervades every corner of the society. It's not only about watching for potential defectors, it's about maintaining control and enforcing conformity. Let's talk about the surveillance system. North Korea has constructed a formidable apparatus of control with countless informants known as Inminban. These informants are ordinary citizens, your neighbors, colleagues, even family members, who are tasked with monitoring and reporting any unusual activities. The state has successfully created an environment where trust is a luxury and the fear of being watched is a constant companion. Moreover, the state-controlled media plays a significant role in this surveillance system. All televisions and radios are pre-tuned to government stations that broadcast a ceaseless stream of propaganda. The state controls all information, censoring anything that contradicts the regime's narrative or exposes citizens to the outside world. But what happens when someone dares to challenge this system, to attempt an escape? The consequences are dire. North Korea is notorious for its harsh punishment of defectors. Those unfortunate enough to be caught are subjected to public executions or sent to labor camps where conditions are brutal and inhumane. These camps, known as kwanliso, are places of hard labor, starvation, and torture. The fear of such a fate is enough to deter most from even contemplating escape. This oppressive regime, built on surveillance and fear, is highly effective in keeping its citizens in check. It's not just about the physical barriers that prevent people from leaving the country. It's the mental barriers, the fear of being watched, the fear of punishment, that are often more powerful. But the physical barriers and the fear of punishment are just the beginning. There's more. The reality of life in North Korea is complex and multifaceted, and escaping it is an incredibly daunting task. But understanding this reality is a crucial step in recognizing the human rights abuses occurring within its borders and working towards a solution. In North Korea, the mind is the most heavily guarded frontier. Picture a nation where propaganda and indoctrination are woven into the very fabric of a daily life. This is a world where every word, every image, every piece of music is designed to uphold a single narrative. This narrative glorifies the ruling Kim dynasty and demonizes the outside world while suppressing any information that might contradict it. Welcome to North Korea. In this hermit kingdom, the Kim dynasty is presented as godlike figures. From a young age, children are taught to revere their leaders with an almost religious fervor. They are told stories of their leaders' miraculous feats and extraordinary abilities. This is a calculated move to instill a sense of awe and unquestioning loyalty towards the ruling regime. The demonization of the outside world is another key aspect of North Korean propaganda. The West, particularly the United States, is depicted as a hostile force out to destroy the North Korean way of life. This narrative serves to justify the regime's repressive policies and fosters a sense of fear and hostility towards outsiders. But perhaps the most insidious aspect of North Korean propaganda is the suppression of information. The internet is heavily censored and foreign media is forbidden. This creates a controlled information environment where the regime's narrative goes unchallenged. People are kept in the dark about the realities of the outside world and the true state of their own nation. This relentless barrage of propaganda and indoctrination serves to maintain control over the population. It shapes their perceptions, influences their emotions, and ultimately determines their actions. The regime has effectively turned the minds of its citizens into a fortress, one that is harder to escape than any physical barrier. Koreans are not only physically trapped, but mentally too. But what about those who still dare to dream? Despite the odds, some North Koreans do attempt to escape, but how? One might wonder. Well, there are a few main escape routes, each with its own set of perils and challenges. Firstly, let's talk about the Tumen River. This winding waterway forms part of the border between North Korea and China. It is often frozen solid in winter, making it a treacherous ice bridge to freedom. However, crossing it is no easy task. North Korean guards are known to patrol the area, ready to shoot anyone attempting to flee. Even if one manages to evade the guards, the icy waters offer no mercy. The risk of drowning is very real. Next, we turn our attention to the underground tunnels. These hidden passages are often dug by desperate individuals hoping to sneak out of the country undetected. They are dark, suffocating, and fraught with the risk of collapse. Imagine the fear of being trapped underground with no hope of rescue. Moreover, these tunnels are often booby-trapped, and those caught digging or using them face severe punishment. Lastly, there's the option of escape by sea. This might seem like the most promising route, with the open ocean offering a vast expanse of freedom. However, this path is not without its dangers. The seas around North Korea are heavily patrolled by both North Korean and Chinese naval forces. There's also the risk of capsizing due to unpredictable weather conditions, not to mention the threat of starvation and dehydration on the open water. Even if one manages to overcome these obstacles, there's another challenge waiting on the other side. If caught by Chinese authorities, escapees are often sent back to North Korea, where they face harsh punishment or even death. So, escaping North Korea is a perilous journey, fraught with danger. It's a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, where the price of failure is far too high. It's not merely about crossing a border, it's a struggle for freedom, for life itself. What happens to those who manage to escape the Hermit Kingdom? A question that, on the surface, seems to have a simple answer. Freedom, right? But in reality, the journey to freedom for North Korean defectors is filled with many challenges, complexities, and fears. Once the physical barriers of North Korea are behind them, defectors face the daunting task of integrating into a new society. This is not as simple as learning a new language or adopting new cultural norms. It's about overcoming a lifetime of ideological conditioning. Imagine living your entire life in a society that operates on principles vastly different from the rest of the world. Then suddenly, you're thrust into a world where everything you've been taught, everything you've believed, is challenged or outright contradicted. This psychological dissonance can be, for many, more difficult to navigate than any river or tunnel. Discrimination is another hurdle that defectors face. Despite the common language and shared history, South Koreans often view North Korean defectors as outsiders. They're seen as different, and these differences can result in prejudice and marginalization. The journey to acceptance and understanding is often a long and lonely one. And then there's the constant fear, the lingering dread of being hunted down by North Korean agents. These fears aren't unfounded. There have been numerous cases of defectors being targeted, harassed, and even abducted. The threat is real, and it's constant. Yet, despite these challenges, these brave individuals continue to strive for a life of freedom and dignity. They face every obstacle, bear every hardship with resilience and determination. So, escaping North Korea is not just about crossing a border, but about overcoming a lifetime of fear and indoctrination. It's about the strength of the human spirit, the will to live free, and the courage to face the unknown. It's a testament to the extraordinary lengths people will go to in pursuit of the fundamental human right to be free.